What's up, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. In today's video, we're going to be doing a video response to a gentleman who goes by the username vypermajik, M-A-J-I-K. Probably totally butchered it. Whatever. We're just going to refer to him as Viper. All right. Now, in his video, which is entitled Ghost Recon Breakpoint, you all need to calm down about the microtransactions. It will be okay. No, it won't. It won't. And we're going to factually prove that in this video. Because, well, facts are facts, and one person's opinion about how one thing is going to be okay, when basically the de-evolution of the video game community as a whole proves otherwise.
Downloadable content. Microtransactions.
DRM. Pre-order DLC.
Dislike content. Blind. Stupid fucking fanboyism.
Alright guys, I figured I would give my hot take on this Ghost Recon monetization post by Mr. Blink8704 on Reddit. This sent the media into an absolute tizzy with Yang Ye, Jim Sterling, and Jeremy from the Quartering for sure going nuts, saying that the game is ruined, it's dead on arrival, Ubisoft is a sham, etc., etc.
So the problem that I have with the clip that you just saw from this gentleman is he refers to basically people that have a disagreement. Now, granted, he did get specific. He said Jim Sterling, Zhong Yang, the Quartering. But they're not the only people that talked about it, be it in a video, be it on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, what have you, social media in general. That were basically voicing their thoughts and concerns on this particular subject, this hobby that they decide to entertain themselves in. And I always kind of find it funny that there's these kinds of people that go so low as to try to defend microtransactions that apparently their first argument is that these people are just throwing a tantrum. They're crying, they're whining, they're bitching, they're moaning, etc. He specifically says that the media was in a tizzy. Which basically comes down to a tantrum. I find this hypocritical because you can't be somebody that is passionate or enjoys video games and just simply is voicing your thoughts and concerns. And when somebody comes across your video or your article and it's the complete opposite way of their thinking, you're somehow bitching, moaning, whining, crying, etc., 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 etc. I just ultimately find that in retrospect, when you do that kind of labeling, your whole argument becomes null and void.
I'm not defending excessive monetization. I don't like it at all. But I am one of the few people who do not participate in it. I have been playing The Division for about 45 hours now, and short of buying the base experience, I haven't spent a penny on any monetization. And I have to say, for the most part, my dude looks pretty cool. So, to me, monetization and microtransactions have never been a big thing. Unfortunately, everything else, to me, is fair game. I don't care. Whether it is unlocked in the game or locked in the game, that doesn't bother me. So if I never get the ghillie hat that I love, it's that navy-looking hat. It's like a short brim. I love that hat. If I never get that hat ever in Division 2 because it's only a microtransaction, I'll live. I'm not going to pay for it. So that's my take on this. I don't really care too much, but I thought for completeness sake, let's go ahead and look through this article, and you can see kind of how much stuff costs and kind of weigh it out for yourself. Again, it doesn't bother me. And everyone has lost their damn mind on this. And to me, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If you're not interested in this stuff, just grind it out like everybody else and earn it. Now, I do draw the line with the experience thing. And if that turns out to be something that is picked up on, I will definitely be frustrated about that. However, that said, I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. And if you don't like this kind of stuff, don't participate in it. I guess you could take it a step further and don't purchase the game. You could speak with your wallet. Always speak with your wallet if you're not happy with it.
So you saw a variety of clips. They were all segmented at different parts of the video. But the important part here is to take away from the very first clip that you saw out of all of them, where he states that he doesn't like microtransactions. And then, of course, he follows that up in other parts of his video where he then becomes a hypocrite. He doesn't care about them. He ignores them. So the question becomes, Viper, do you not care for microtransactions, or do you care? You can't say that you're on the level with both, because that's not how this works. And besides the fact that the majority of your thinking in here is flawed, because you're not looking at the bigger picture. You know, it's pretty hypocritical when an individual wants to sit there and defend microtransactions, because that's what he's doing. He's defending microtransactions. And in his own video, he states that he doesn't like them. But then, for the rest of the video, he talks about how he ignores them or they don't bother him. Well, wait a minute. If they don't bother you, then that means you don't really not care for them. That's hypocrisy at its finest. But anyway, as the individual, so in his video, which you didn't really see, a link to it is in the description box below. Don't go trolling him, be polite. He talks about how the stuff that is the microtransactions, with the exception of, like, you know, the premium currency, although you probably can unlock it very slowly. You can basically unlock all of the, you know, the skins, the guns, by playing the game. To which I will inherently say that no other place has mentioned that, because that's something that game journalists would have jumped on right away. In fact, Kotaku, though their own game journalism is questionable within itself, actually have an article entitled Ghost Recon Microtransactions Explained, where they literally state that stuff can be unlocked by playing the game. But the funny part about that is they never mention that it's the exact microtransactions that can be unlocked. And then we come to his Viper's video. Mark, I can buy 3 masks for the price of both Witcher 3 DLC. Yeah, also those guns you find in the world are leveled, so you can't really make that argument that it is in the game, as you would need a blueprint to get a gun at your level, and even then you have to grind for materials and continue to upgrade it. The sniper class upgrade pack is 4,800 coins. I would have to purchase 5,800 coins, which is roughly 55.99 SGD, so that's 39.77 US dollars in order to afford it. With that purchase, you've already spent more than the Witcher DLC to simply bypass a portion of the game for one character. Personally, I probably wouldn't buy it. I would hope that's not a probably and a definite. But some people who are more easily swayed to spend because they're using mom's credit card will. I would just, you know, a little criticism on that. It's not just kids. There are adults that do have spending issues, a lack of responsibility when it comes to money, addiction, so on and such forth. The fact that this is even a purchasable option is very troubling. Sorry, but this is not an is what it is situation for me. Viper decides to reply. Great comment. You're right about The Witcher's value, but that was an exception, not a rule. Ubisoft and all other major developers tend to provide a slew of microtransactions, Gears 5, NBA, and Breakpoint, just to name a few. I don't mind it, I just ignore it. It doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the game unless progression is gated. So once again, hypocrisy, because in his own video, he states how he doesn't like microtransactions, and then every other point after that, and even in the comments, it's basically, I don't mind it, I just ignore it. Hypocrisy. I mean, how can we literally take this guy's word seriously for any aspect of gaming if he can't even hold straight to his guns? Because I would inherently say that his true opinion on this is he doesn't mind microtransactions. I would even say that he doesn't even dislike microtransactions unless, of course, they gate progression. If that's what you feel, then be a goddamn man and say it. Don't try and deflect or seem like you agree with people who don't like microtransactions by in the beginning of your video saying that you don't like them, and then think that people are going to be ignorant or stupid not to realize that through the rest of the video, you just go on about how I don't mind it. You are a hypocrite. Beyond a hypocrite at this point. There's a bit of an aspect that you're failing to realize, Viper. This is the biggest problem with microtransactions. Irrelevant if you can unlock the microtransactions in the game. Because some of the cosmetics in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I didn't show it, but he talks about that if anyone wants to go watch his video. Again, be respectful, you know, yada yada. Don't call them childish names, stuff like that. I believe it's Acarilium is the special currency that you can earn by playing missions and wander around and find them at certain locations. And then there's one particular guy who sells you basically stuff randomly from the microtransaction store that you can purchase. So again, that's, yes, you can purchase the microtransactions outright with real money, or you can spend the time to grind and hope that they randomly appear in this store. That is not fun or entertaining, and that's not even my opinion. That's a fact. You know what also is a fact is you fail to see the bigger picture here of how this is detrimental, not just for gaming as an art form, but the future generations of gamers. Because what it seems like right here and right now is you only care about this game and your enjoyment of it here in the now. As long as you get to enjoy it in some facet that thereof, you don't care about the future of this game for the generations to come after. Because you want to know the difference. Let's use Mortal Kombat as an example. It's a good example because of Mortal Kombat 11, which its story mode and the crypt both require you to be online in order to unlock in-game rewards. You want to know what happens when the servers go down and the game is no longer supported? We now have a Mortal Kombat game, a piece of art that is incomplete. And art in any form, novel, movie, comic book, should never be sold incomplete to you. In fact, video games is the only art form that sells literal accessories to the actual art. And just so we're clear, a bookmark, for example, is an accessory to the book. It's not an accessory to the actual art found within the book. You know, I never really understand why so many people defend microtransactions. And to me, it's like they fail to see how this hurts gaming in the long run. Because like I said, you know, when Mortal Kombat 11, you know, 70 years from now when the servers go down, the game's no longer supported, it's going to be a broken game. It's going to be a broken piece of art. As opposed to its predecessors, which came before it, specifically before 9, you will be able to play and enjoy them. Your grandkids, their grandkids will be able to play and enjoy those games as long as the CDs, the cartridges, and the consoles still exist. They will be able to play them. Even if they don't, there's always emulation, but that's not really a point here in any factor. The point is that older games can be enjoyed because they are complete pieces of art, as opposed to the modern generation of games that we get, which are broken up, require day one updates. Video games is the only art form that is willfully willing to sell you a broken piece of art. It's the only art form that is willfully willing to sell you literal accessories to the art itself. You want to sit here and tell me how that is morally justifiable? Because it's not. And that's not even my opinion, that's a fact. Because art should be complete when it comes to you, the person who's going to be enjoying it. And for you to sit there and make excuses for this broken piece of art, and I use quotes on the word art, is shameful coming from a gamer who no doubt is old enough and has played older generations of games. And no, I don't know his age, I'm just going by what you look like, all right? It's insulting. I mean, you would think that gamers as a whole, that we would have more passion and love for not just video games, but this art form, that we would want it to be complete, not just for ourselves. Because every time I see somebody like Viper defending microtransactions, they're being selfish. It's about them here in the now and how they're enjoying the game. But they don't think about this game in the long run for the generations that come after them when the servers go offline. Because then it comes, who the fuck is going to enjoy this game? You know, one good iconic shooting game, GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. That will be able to give enjoyment to generations of gamers. Most modern day FPSs or TPSs, that's third person, aren't going to have that same feel because they're literally incomplete. They're broken. And I don't know about you, but as a gamer and as a person who creates art, that's not how art or video games should be sold to you. They should be complete to be enjoyed by generations after them. Maybe it's time that a lot of these gamers and certain game journalists stop thinking about themselves and actually start thinking about the gaming community as a whole and how detrimental microtransactions in all their form, cosmetic or otherwise, is damaging not just to the gaming community, but the future generations of gaming and gaming as an art form. That's all I have to say on this subject. I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And again, don't go trolling this guy. If you want to go there to his video, voice your own thoughts and concerns, do so. Try to do so in a respectful manner. I mean, I can't control you, so you'll do what you do. Hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the bullshit microtransactions in any game, regardless if they can be unlocked by playing the game or not, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.